streaming.
So is there just one microphone?
There may be just one microphone. We had asked for a microphone. That. Oh, that's wrong. Okay. That's supposed to stay. That's Zoom. Oh, is that Zoom? Oh, no, feedback. So, yeah. There we go. Okay. Yeah, no more feedback. They were here. I think they're mostly next door for Wista. Let me quick go check. The reservation form said. I'm thinking a microphone.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking if there's going to be question and answer, it'd be very cumbersome to move in mic. I mean, could we make it absolutely?
Yeah. Frames are ridiculous. Everything. Okay. What should be good? Oh, I have to present what I'm well, that's one thing. There, honestly. There's one Excel. Oh, hey, good. OTS has microphones over here. Presenting. Event services. Presenting. That's probably what it is. If you like that, though, if you like that involved light. I'm Antonio. What's your name? Nice to meet you. And I got slapped. Did you? Yeah, I looked at them. It's amazing. I didn't actually rehearse for my robotics thing. It makes me feel better. That makes me feel so much better. I know. Oh, not. How are you doing? I have a midterm today. I did not study it. Well, this is my voice. I studied as much as I could with the sound that I was. Can you hear me now? Is this good? Even that Monday I did not study at all, but that's okay. I hear you. Hopefully other people won't. I watched the rest of too, but I can hear you. Okay. That's but the microphone's only right there, so if it's like Q&A stuff, that'll be difficult.
Yeah, but you won't be able to hear us on.
Actually, that's a microphone. Yeah, that's what the feedback was a minute ago. Was everything being picked up on there and being passed on YouTube?
It's a little hard. If we, it's Jack, I asked them to try it out because it's hard because people can't always hear.
Right. I'm gonna go yell at students. If you want to, you are our communication. I am. You want to go yell at people that there is food. You have like papers, like they're already there. Yes. All right.
What?
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we just need access. That's all.
Is there any point things you want me to run, like camera or maybe the camera we run up here, I guess. Okay, so we're doing questions. Room. We'll stay on instructor. This is the mic.
Yeah.
And that's the mic.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we can work with that. We'll just have to tell people project and repeat, and I can repeat questions from here, and both of those mics should pick me up.
Okay.
Notes for next time. Yep. Semesterly thing, is that the goal?
What's the Constitution?
Well, yeah, no one has been doing for years.
Yeah.
Correct. So you got a little bit to catch up on them.
If Will, Lyle, Sullivan know what they are, then that's a problem.
So nobody knows.
I don't even know who this person is.
Will did undergrad here and is now a PhD student here.
Oh, good.
And he didn't know what they were.
Good. Amazing.
Yeah.
Pretty well put together club you got here. It's not really a club. Organization? Let's go with organization. Needs a lot of work. You would be both.
People said they would be here.
You want me to run around?
Yeah, that's what Sean is doing. Minutes.
You want me to?
If you want to go help him.
Okay, I think I might do that.
Okay.
Anything else then? It's better than the last listening session. Yeah, at least two. Oh, you said 3 last time I was. Okay, sure.
How are you? I know. Hi T, how are you? Good. Good to see you too.
You cannot answer my email yet.
Good. Okay. Oh, sorry.
Question tree.
I'm doing robotics. So yeah, for the things you like, yeah. That feels a little insulting. I'm not gonna lie. Like, oh, you just get that final part.
I don't want to. I'm assuming maybe it's not your house.
Sounds like that. Oh yeah, we're also doing these events because you're part of. We're doing BSU.
Yeah, but I'm sure she got it. But it's
Also for Space Alliance. Not Voice of America. Training with them and also SGA and also BSU. And what was the name of that event one more time? I always forget. Liberation training. Liberation training. Basically, your liberation. Oh, okay. Sure. All right, cool. I meant to send you an email about shipping handling stuff that's literally still on my lock screen. Like, literally still there. I just haven't gotten around to it.
my question. That's fine. Okay, perfect. No, that's not basically what I remember. But I would be a earlier. And I do also need to bother about the sprinkler event.
Yes and no. Yeah. Where's Black queer liberation?
There were two unrelated queries, but
The first one. Ben. Yep. RSVP.
oh,
That's right. 21. Oh, that's actually not bad.
on her way here.
That's actually really good. I'm spamming all the slides.
Okay, it's better.
Okay.
Hispanic heritage month.
Shower.
Is Greg here? Greg from eSports. No? Okay, that's interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
no, fortunately not. handle the slides.
I will. We will do something.
I'm really just talking to myself, but I do all the time. I was reading a text to myself that somebody had sent me, but I just couldn't process it. Somebody goes, well, like, hello. And I go, oh, hi. I was saying your name. Oh, I'm so sorry. Reading this really insane text about a wedding shower, sushi. I just can't understand because it keeps going on and on. I have to make a sign for it, and then I have to bring a recipe to it. And let me send you this. I don't even want to film anymore. Yeah. It's my friend who already got married. My husband and I went to wedding. So they went to a bridal shower. You're not a bride. You're what? They ask for gifts. That's what you want.
Greg?
Greg.
Hey.
Men and women.
You want to go and help me with a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Ben, I talked to Ophir Trigalo. Did he get you some help for the streaming?
Yeah.
So you're all set.
It is currently streaming. We are currently on YouTube.
Great.
Who kids first with the shoes? Do you know what I'm talking? Those are better too.
Yeah. That's all the.
Friend's baby shower. A baby shower.
Okay, it's a little after 12:45, so I think we're going to get started. I think all the speakers are here now. So thank you everyone for coming to the first General Assembly of 2021, 2022. These are events SGA used to do in the past to kind of complement what the Senate is doing to try to spread the word of what student government is up to more students within the student body. In the past, it's sort of a place where orgs can come together, talk about what they're doing, spread the word about their activities, and come to decisions about the future of the direction of campus. We feel like students really need a voice to be able to speak back and talk about what's going on, so we're trying to bring back the General Assemblies. So today, we've got 5 orgs that are going to give brief presentations about what they're up to this semester and about what they do in general. BSU, robotics, esports, Prism, and Intinium. So they're each going to talk for about 5 minutes. And our first speaker is Marilyn Flowers from the Black Student Union.
So hi, everybody. Thank you for coming. My name is Marilyn Flowers, president of the Black Student Union, and I'm a third-year ICAM major at Oakland Tech. So today we're presenting our org. So first I want to start off with our mission statement. The Black Student Union IIT's chapter mission is to promote cultural and social awareness and foster unity among students of African technology. We strive to provide effective communication between faculty, administration, and students on campus. It is our objective to promote academic excellence, empower our community on and off campus, and enhance professional advancement. So here's our executive board. That's me, the president. Our vice president, Seth Graham. Our treasurer, Nehemiah Green. And our secretary, Haley Thomas Turner. And here's our contact information if anybody wants to take that down for a minute. I'll just leave it for like a few seconds. Right. So here's a little bit of our org. So I'm going to start off with some of our activities. Some of these are like a mixture of recent activities and past activities. Just to give an overview of what we do in general. First up is BSU lunchtime. BSU lunchtime is just a time that we pick as an organization for all of our members to meet either on campus or off campus, just to contact with each other. We use the time to either study, eat lunch, or just talk about what we've done with our day, just to build communication amongst our members and each other. Another activity we do, and this is very exciting to me, are the Juneteenth paintings in the MTCC bridge. And I was excited this year for it because there were a lot of different quotes on there, like inspirational quotes, dealing with different Black historians and people of power that help us be who we are today as an organization and encourage us for our future plans. Another activity we do towards the end of the semester where finals are around and all of the students are stressed about exams and GPAs, BSU likes to get together and just have our final study and chill. We'll bring snacks and help each other out and just give comfort to each other and continue to build community and a safe space for our members. All right, so now I'm going to move to our events. So each year at the beginning and the end of the year, we'll have a barbecue. The purpose of the Welcome Back barbecue is to just bring everybody back from the summer. Everybody's been disconnected. And it's just a fun time to get together and eat and catch up and just get back into the mood for the semester. And after that, we'll have our first general body meeting or welcome event where we actually get together as an organization and do our introductions, like meet the board, what our mission is, what we plan to do for the semester, and what fun activities we want to have. Then around Black History Month, it varies year to year, but last year we had the Black History Month banquet where all the orgs got together with NSB and ASO and had the Black History Month banquet. So we sat down together and eat and had alumni there and different faculties and staff members. And this is another event we'll have is Heritage Bowl. And Heritage Bowl is basically when the issue by itself just gets together with its members and talk about Black history and what builds us up and encourages us. And we have done some collaborated events along the way with different orgs. So this one, we had a speaker talk about diversity, inclusion, and equity. It was Dr. Benitez. And then our previous president, Samuel Long, had a collaboration with SJP about equity and social issues. And a little bit about our general body meetings in general. Talk about a lot of different topics. They'll range from like hair, mental health, and Black community, different events that happen throughout the year, like the Capitol storming, colorism, and the education system. So sometimes it'll range to just casual conversation, social conversation, cultural conversation, depends on what we plan. And sometimes in our general body meetings, we do give opportunities for career. Our latest one was a software engineering program at JP Morgan Chase, where we actually had somebody from Chase come in and talk to our members about different career opportunities they offer in the program, which I was excited about myself because I want to be a software engineer. So I actually wrote that down and I plan to join it myself. And lastly, here is the issue at the Student Organization Fair. And here's the HOP Award that we won last semester, the Organization Spirit of Service Award. And thank you all for listening. Here are our socials.
All right, we're going to just go in alphabetical order. So Craig from Esports, you are up next.
Hello, my name is Gregory Bonham. I'm a fifth-year computer engineering student, and I'm the current president of Illinois Tech Esports. So, okay, yeah. So, firstly, I wanted to just talk about what is esports and what we do. So, what is esports? Firstly, a lot of people like to spell it wrong. It's just a word. Don't add hyphens. Don't add random capitalizations. So what esports is, it's a form of competition mainly focused around video games. So most commonly, esports takes the form of competition that is organized multiplayer video game competitions, particularly between professional players, either individually or as teams. And the prize pools can get pretty big these days. So the biggest one right now is $40 million for the international in Dota 2. I believe that was TI-10. So that was the 10th international. So our mission as an organization is to engage the community in both casual and competitive gaming scenes. Whether competing in high-level tournaments or casual LAN parties, our goal is to create a space for everyone to connect through gaming. So regardless of how competitive you are, we want to create a safe, fun space for everyone to enjoy themselves. So what we actually do, so we've got a couple of different things we like to focus on. So the first thing is we like to do creative events. So we want people to come in and do social events with us, help us out with planning, help us out with making videos, doing highlight edits, making content, making jerseys so we can have team solidarity. We really like that, like content creation stuff. That's really fun to us. And it can also help build some skills for post-graduation in terms of creating that content. We also like to just build a big sense of community. So we have social events through the years where we don't focus as much on just playing video games, but just connecting through gaming. So that can mean just watching a tournament, but that can also mean doing things that are completely unrelated to video games, depending on what event we happen to be throwing together. We're trying to use games as a way to make connections on campus, make friends on campus. But we also do a lot of competition. So our teams are supported based on student interest. Whatever people want to play, we'll try our best to support you and play in that and sign you up for tournaments, help you out with registration fees, help you out with travel if you want to go to competitions outside of campus. We haven't done that in a while because of obvious circumstances, but as things allow and things open back up, we're looking to start sending people to tournaments that are in person off campus again. And if you don't want to play, we also appreciate help just from the perspective of being an analyst. There's a lot of data science you can do in some of these video games, and it's really cool stuff. And we appreciate that type of help too. So here's some examples of some different off-campus events that we have sent teams to either volunteer at or play at. So a lot of these were really fun events, and I was even at the Chicago IEM one. It was a lot of fun. We just got to help out, volunteer there, and then watch a big tournament. It was really fun. So these are all of the games that we currently have active competitive teams for. There's a lot of logos here, but most of them also have the names as part of the logos. So once again, we don't only support this. Anything that somebody wants to play, even if it's not on the screen right now, we would love to be able to support you in, and just reach out to us if you want to try to get support playing a video game. And if you play one of these games, that's great. That means we already have a really established community, and we can connect you with those people and get you some friends to game with. So right now our tryouts for our competitive teams are completed. We have our rosters locked in, and these are what some of them are doing. So our Rainbow Six Siege team is playing in the Basic Collegiate Championships. Our Counter-Strike Global Offensive team is playing in NACE Star League. Rocket League team is playing in NACE CSL and Play VS. And our Smash team is competing in ICCS and whatever else they can get their hands on. They're always hungry for more stuff, along with CSL. So a couple of events that we have coming up. We like to do a retreat in the fall semester, and that's essentially just a day to step away from gaming, do some volunteer work, and then do something fun just as a team. So currently, we sent this in before we had finalized our plans for that, which we are going to announce the finalized plans for that at our general body meeting, which is going to be on Friday. So people who are interested in this is pretty much just a non-gaming event about just doing some volunteer work and then having some fun as a group. So anyone who wants more information on this, show up to our general body meeting this Friday. We will be live streaming that on Twitch, and we'll have links to our Twitch accounts and also to our Discord later. And that would be how you get on that. We also have a stream team for people who like making content on Twitch. Just reach out to us and we can try to get you resources to make your Twitch game better for live streaming. And we're also looking for some more help on our team right now. So our biggest issue right now is that our social media game is severely lacking. We do not have a Twitter game at all. So we are currently looking for people who can come in and help us out with running Twitter, running our social medias, Instagram, stuff like that. We do a lot of cool stuff and we don't do enough to talk about it on social media. So if you're interested in any of that, once again, I say, please do reach out to us. And the way you reach out to us is with preferably our Discord, which is the link at the top of this connections page. We got a lot of other stuff, but like I said, our Twitter, our Facebook, our Instagram, not really as active. Presence doesn't exist anymore, so I'm looking for that link. Yeah. Yeah, so we, most of our communication is right now done through our Discord channel. So I'd really recommend anyone who wants to connect with us to type that link in or find a way to click it and reach out. If you want to direct message somebody instead of just messaging one of our general chats in our Discord, my name is Greg on the Discord. Just direct message me and I will get back to you. I can answer any questions. Yeah, so that's everything for us, and thank you.
All right, next up is robotics.
Hello, my name is Devin Keeney. I am the president of Illinois Tech Robotics. You'll also probably hear me refer to it as ITR for short. We are the campus's oldest, most active robotics club. We are one of the many engineering-focused orgs on campus. Tell you a little bit more about what we do. So we do a lot of different projects every year, some of which are up here. So we are primarily a robotics org. So we kind of stretch the definition of what you may consider a robot quite a bit. So here at the bottom, you'll see some of the things we more traditionally consider a robot. So these are the robots we take to our yearly competition called MRDC, or the Midwestern Regional Design Competition, that takes place every March in Urbana-Champaign. So lots of very different styles of robots. We try and pride ourselves on coming up with very unique, innovative robots. However, in a situation that is not an academic situation, or academic setting rather. While we do try and innovate and use cutting edge technologies, we also make sure to establish ourselves that if you're looking for research, this is not what we're doing. We're primarily a engineering social club is probably the best way to put it, wherein we're trying to have fun coming up with advanced technologies as well as having a fun time at a club. You can see we've got some very basic robots, from just basic four-wheel robots to Osiris, which is a three-wheel spinning death machine, to our quadcopter, to other kinds of different robots. In addition to that, again, this is kind of where the iffy definition of a robot comes in. We also do IIT's yearly pumpkin launch, which took place just last month. You can see how that ended at the top right photo. Sadly, our launcher this year did fall over about an hour and a half before the launch. Our pumpkin launcher is about 400 pounds of a steel frame, meaning it's a big thing to set up. So we were unable to launch this year sadly due to that falling over. But it's been a very major design project that we've been working on continuously over the last 10 years or so. So that's some of our other projects. In addition to also competing in our building our own robots, we also volunteer with youth robotics competitions, namely FIRST. So Illinois Tech loves FIRST and DEX robotics. We offer scholarships. That's part of the reason I'm here. So ITR is primarily focused, or not primarily, significantly focused on giving back to that and volunteering on Saturday weekend events, and longer events, even traveling to events out of state so that we can give our time and give our energy and our expertise to these events such that we can give back. We are also an officially recognized first alumni group for people who are alumni of some of these programs, such that we can provide networking resources and things like that. In addition, again, we stretch that definition of robot pretty thin. So we do a lot of things that are not robots. So we've had students who basically come up to us with all sorts of different projects in the past, and we try and do our best to support that. We are primarily not necessarily a robotics club, even with robotics in our name. We've done things like a student decided to build a CTA tracker sign out of a Raspberry Pi and some other materials. We have students try and build go-karts. We've built all sorts of other different things. Pretty much if you want to build something, we have a lovely giant shop. We have lots of very knowledgeable, resourceful people, and we want to help support students build whatever they can to the best of their ability. So we're working on a lot of cool things in the future. So again, we've got all these robots that happen on a generally yearly schedule for competition, and we're working on improving those incrementally as we always do, as well as working on some new projects for those competitions. In addition, in the past, we've done a lot of internal competitions. So we did this competition called Robotics. A few years ago, we had 30 old Roombas donated to us. So we decided to make a Roomba fighting competition, because what else can you do with 30 Roombas? That turned out a little disastrously because Roombas are very hard to hack into other things, but it was a lot of fun. So we're looking to do more things like that. So one of the ideas we've been throwing around for quite a while is doing a BattleBot competition. Little, either like 3 pound or 15 pounds, small enough that most student orgs or groups of students could put together a robot in a feasible area or feasible time and budget. And basically having that as a campus-wide event that all sorts of clubs can get involved. That's still very early planning stages, but that's something we've thrown around for quite a while and something we would love to do. And then the biggest thing that ITR is working on is this new student workspace. So thanks to Rachel, we've been able to get tours of the space and been able to work on this project. But the idea is we're going to actually have a centralized engineering space for all of the engineering and project-based orgs. So instead of the SAF having to fund 14 different drill presses, we can get 2 really nice ones. So things like that, sharing spaces, sharing tools, sharing organization, sharing all these different things such that all these clubs can focus less on the dumb things like stepping out a shop and getting all the bolts and all that kind of thing you want, and really focus on building some really cool stuff. So that's kind of the gist of it.
Okay, so next up is Infinium.
Oh, yeah, okay. So there.
Maybe you need to, okay, yeah.
Okay.
So let me start off by saying thank you for scheduling time to be here today. I know everybody has a busy schedule, so let me start with that. And then introduce myself. Okay, so hello, my name is Shahan Mirza. I'm the current vice president of Infinium. Current president is Matt Nicole. She couldn't be here because she has midterm. You know, we're in the middle of midterms. And this is my 3rd semester with Infinium. We're a relatively new organization. We're going to hit our 3rd birthday this coming fall sometime. I don't know the exact date. I probably should. Moving along in a short time. So I'm going to briefly talk about the history of Infinium and then what our vision is for the organization. Because as I just said, we're relatively new. I'm also going to talk about our past events and programs that we like to host and what our projections are for the coming academic school year. All right, so a bit of history about Infinium. Infinium was founded by Katya and Daniel. Some of you guys probably don't know them. They're both graduated now, I believe. And what they had a vision for Illinois Tech's campus. They want to change the culture. They realized there was a lot of passionate students on campus who had a lot of ideas, but no real outlet or no real access to resources to accomplish those venues. Along with that, they got lots of help from Provost Kilpatrick, so thank you for Provost Kilpatrick. And that was the backing we needed from administration to get this off the ground. And then also we saw a demonstrated need on campus of, as I said, students who just needed some access or needed help getting access to those resources. So with all 3 of those put together, We, vision and mission. All right, so our mission is to be the on-campus, I guess, source for inspiration and resources that awaken greater possibility. Breaking that down a little bit more specifically, we recently put together a large management framework for our organization. We did a lot of work with a consultant for the last year and a half, I'd say. So we've been working on this for a while now. And what this means for students is that we really want to be able to help you nurture your ideas, guide you, help you to guide you to develop your entrepreneurial initiative, and connect you to resources on campus. I keep saying resources a lot. It's going to be drilled into your head by the end of this. And with that, for the university's administration, our goal is going to be to help you guys accomplish your strategic priorities related to student creativity and innovation. We really want to create opportunities for the administration to engage with inspired, passionate IIT students. We currently work very closely with Kaplan. So if Kaplan's ever throwing an event, you'll probably see that Insigniam is helping out with organizing that or somehow getting students to show up for that event. So if you guys are interested in Kaplan or anything that Kaplan is doing, Kaplan is like our innovation hub and entrepreneurship hub on campus. So we do a lot of work with them. You'll probably see our events there from time to time. So past events, we throw a lot of big events. Okay, we've been successfully running Pitch at Illinois Tech for the last 3 years. Pitch at Illinois Tech is a large, I guess, startup incubator kind of thing, where you pitch your ideas for companies that or startups you want to create, and we help get you resources and funding. Obviously, the competitions. I believe for the last few years, our viewership online we live streamed the final event. It's been going up by like a lot. I think in 2019, it was at 1,400 viewers for our final live stream. And more recently, it was around like 2,000. So we're doing really good. Definitely engaging the student community on that end. You guys have probably heard of Startup Symposium. We're trying to make that a recurring thing now. That's more of I guess it's in the name. It's a symposium of startups in the Chicago entrepreneurship community. And we basically help connect them to you, help you guys find jobs, help you get internships, and get good contacts. And then the biggest thing that you've probably recently heard of, I know Provost Office sent out an email about this last semester, is Chicago Startup Week. We had the privilege of working closely with TechStars, which is a really large, I guess, startup incubator, startup company. And we connected all the schools in the Chicago area, so Chicago, Northwestern, Loyola, and we ran this event. It was a week-long event where we got lots of important people in the Chicago area, a lot of big entrepreneurs, and we managed to connect a lot of students together with that. We are actually working on planning that again for this coming year. So if anybody's interested in actually being a project lead and helping to head this event, just come speak to me or come speak to anybody else. I'll show you guys contacts a little bit. All right, so our projections for the coming year. So one of our goals is going to be to enhance our value to students. What I mean by that is we've been throwing lots of really big, large-scale events that everybody has access to, but we want to do more community building, more internal stuff now. We work on our internal structure of it. That goes into developing our strategic metrics. As I said earlier, we worked with a consultant for a while. We've kind of got it down to a science of what our goals are for our organization, what we want to tackle, and who we want to be helping. So that's what we're doing with metric stuff. And then finally, building a foundation and structure for longevity. That sounds really pretentious, but what we mean by that is establishing resources for funding and just making sure that we'll be a lasting work when all of us who are currently on the executive board cycle out. And then, so I guess thank you for listening to me talk for the last, I don't know how long that was, hopefully 5 minutes. If you want to contact me, there's my email, there's the president's email, and then Insigniam's email. And then obviously feel free to check out our QR codes. Slack is going to be the best form of communication because we post lots of stuff, not even just from Intinium. We do lots of announcements for other orgs in there too. And we have a lot of orgs in our Slack. So if you're interested in just talking or networking or getting more information, I definitely recommend you guys join our Slack. Thank you.
Last but not least is Prism.
Hello, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Panyawa. I'm a third-year computer science major, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about Prism. So first and foremost, I want to talk to you guys about our mission. So the purpose of Prism is to facilitate social awareness of the LGBTQIA community on IIT's campus. We also strive to assist campus personnel to provide a tolerant and accepting campus environment for those who identify with the LGBTQIA+ community. And then we also want to involve IIT's LGBTQ+ community with the larger Chicago LGBT. So currently we have a safe space that is located at IIT Tower that we accommodate a couple hours a week for people to come in. Anyone who's a part of the LGBTQIA can come in and just have a space to relax, if they need to chill out, if they just feel like they need somewhere where they won't be judged for who they are, essentially. So we've been doing that for years now at this point. To talk about some of our recent events, we had a tie-dyeing t-shirt event. Everyone had the chance to come get a new white t-shirt. We started tie-dyeing and it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. It was personally my first time ever tie-dyeing and I got stains all over me, but it's fine. That's the point of it, right? Just having fun. We had a boys town trip. Essentially, we all met up at the center on Halsted and we actually had someone come to give us a tour from the Howard Brown Health, and they let us know, they gave us just like a tour about the history of Boys Town. And so afterwards, we ended up just going, enjoying the environment, going to different stores, and we also visited the Legacy Walk. We also had a collaboration with Delta Tau Delta. Essentially, we were just right outside their Greek house and we played some yard games. We also had some food. It was a nice social event. And then at the end, we gave a gender and gender identity presentation. Today, we're actually having pizza rolls, not gender rolls. So essentially, we're going to be playing Kahoot. We're going to be having pizza rolls, and we're just going to be having a conversation about gender roles and how they affect our everyday life. Things to look forward to this week, this month, we're hosting Pride Week. So we're going to be having like button making, we're going to be decorating cupcakes, and we're going to be sharing coming out stories for those who, of course, are comfortable with doing that. Yeah, so we just really strive to give people the space that they need and feel comfortable at IIT. And we also have events coming up with the Black Singing Union and SGA, where we'll be doing a liberation training with Race-Based Alliance. So yeah.
Okay, so thank you to all of our presenters for presenting today and helping us with this event. Now is the important, really important part of the hour, the chance for students to ask questions of the administration and try to express their concerns and their thoughts about what's going on at the university. So do any of the students here have a question they'd like to ask? Feel free to raise your hand or stand up. Okay. Okay.
Oh, I can.
If you want, or if you're however you're comfortable just asking your question.
Okay, introduce yourself. Oh, okay. My name is Adina Seda. I'm Administrative Director of the Judicial Board for SGA. And I wanted to ask, I put this in the form as well, but I would also ask this. Have you ever considered revamping the Galvin Library? So I don't know if you've noticed, but lower level of Galvin Library is the lighting is good, but it's very hot, very moist. and not everything was revamped after COVID. So I was thinking like, would you ever like consider revamping it or expand the library?
That's a great question, and I don't know if you know Devin Savage, the librarian at Galvin Library, but he and I have talked about what we're going to do on the lower level. I think an easy solution would be to put some LED lights in there, just to break up the space. Perhaps another level solution would be to put some acoustic, like anechoic surfaces in there that make it easier over the years when you're down there. But, well, just, to make the noise down there a lot better. It absorbs noise, anechoic surfaces. So I think there's a couple of simple things we could do. A more complete solution would be getting funds to really run it. There are parts of both the upper floor and the lower floor that I think would benefit from really a wholesale renovation. I'm not sure we have the funds to do that this year, but that would be a goal for subsequent years. And then the other thing I would say is there's a lot of material in the stacks in the library that really could either be digitized, otherwise the library, just to make the library more of a study space or more of a gathering space for students. So those are all on the table, but I'll take your suggestion about the lower level back together and see if we can do something hopefully this semester, next semester. You're welcome.
And I forgot to note, you'll notice the QR code on the bottom is for anonymous questions. If you'd rather not ask your question yourself and would rather me ask it for you, there's a Google form. Submit your questions through there, and I'll keep periodically refreshing it to look for anonymous questions. Tanya.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Tanya. I'm a fourth year. Been here a while. So my question is specifically on student services. So considering I have been here since 2018, I have seen a lot of student services that we no longer offer. So for example, my first year, international students could file their taxes for free through SmartTax, but every subsequent year I've had to pay $70, $80 to do the same thing. Another example is that like the library is no longer offering hotspots this semester, and that OTS is no longer looking at personal computers if your personal computer has an issue. So I was wondering whether the university was going to bring back these services, considering we do have a rise in student service fees almost every year.
Sure, and then I'll turn it over to you. Great question. In my last meeting with Devin, I agreed. I've been through the student fees. I'm a little bit appalled that we have about 100 of them. And it's, so we need to revamp our fees. We've got a different lab fee for 45. And and the lab fees vary from $80 to $140. It's kind of silly. And so I think what we're going to do, just to streamline it, is we're going to roll a lot of these into a single student service fee. And where we can, we're just going to eliminate the fee and subsume it. But insofar as services go, I'm really pleased to say that we're regathering all of the students, nearly all of the students on the second floor of the tower. So I know many of you may be unaware of what's called the one stop, but we had a system a few years ago where you could go to one place on campus for any need that you had. So if you had a financial aid issue, or if you had an academic affairs issue, or if you had a student support issue of any kind, you could go to one place. Well, that one place is going to be the second floor of the tower. And so we're regathering all of our student services. We're breaking the piggy bank and doing the renovation and getting all the furniture. So we are trying to dramatically improve the student services that we offer to students. But your points are very well taken. I mean, when I went through this list, I was kind of like, OMG, we need to do something about that. So I really appreciate it. And I'll turn it over to T to continue that train of thought.
Yeah. Yeah, I would just add that we're definitely open to your feedback and thoughts too on what we, some of the areas that are overseas, we work really closely with the National Center. So I think you mentioned tax preparation, if I caught that correctly. So that seems like something that's pretty low hanging fruit. We can really look at it, bringing it back because one might put that, right? So I think that's something we can really look at. So please, definitely, and we're always open to that.
For the hotspots, the one thing that I thought was interesting, just so you know, they didn't just decide, wipe these off the desk, we don't want them. What happened was when we sold our Sprint channel, it went away with that deal. And so in that period of time, we started to negotiate new contracts. And so we just didn't quite meet the deadline to get it back to, so there's a little service disruption. But I've spoken with at least one student about assisting them if they, their woman lives at home and the Wi-Fi is not working very well and getting to the library is hard, all those things. So my office, the Dean of Students office, is more than willing to work with students and their faculty on these issues and hopefully be able to get them a hot side. So I do know that that's bubbling up.
Are there other questions from students today? Oh, yep. Introduce yourself and feel free to ask.
I'm Miracle, third year mechanical engineer student, and I just have a question. So this is something that most of my friends have been dealing with over the years. Is when financial aid happens, but if they have I have a friend who had a problem with her FAFSA, and the FAFSA called and they said the school had to fix it, and she's been emailing the school for over a month, and they never really replied back to her. And she only just recently got it fixed yesterday, even though it was due 2 weeks ago. And this has happened to me in the past as well. When it comes to calling or acting financial aid, register, whatever office, they don't usually reply on time. And it takes weeks out of your time just to get their information back. When it takes 2 seconds for them to fix it. So I was wondering what can be done to have to be accountable to reply back to your email so you're not just left in the dust and left to pay thousands of dollars that could have been paid for by grants.
Hi, everyone. I'm not officially on the panel. Elizabeth Malmstrom Hellgren. I run the financial aid department. So thank you for your feedback. So we have several things. One, financial aid, it's full of acronyms, it's a process every year. We want to give you your money. So please just know we are very committed to that. And I do apologize, sounds like to your friends. But also in general, we were striving to improve these services, as the provost mentioned, through future opportunities in the tower. This fall was particularly some slower than ideal response times. So 1, 2, we want to hear from you. So I'd like to take it offline and hear more personally additional follow-up on it. I want to respect the integrity of any of you in the room, not to share those personal finances. And just know that we are constantly striving to improve our quality and service. This happens through many things. It's the staffing, yes, but it's also an evaluation of how we do any of our classes. You have to abide to the federal guidelines, some of these things, and they're not always fast, but doesn't mean we can't look internally to see where we can. So I can't change what happened, but just know that we take your feedback really seriously. We are hoping that this model on the second floor, having an integrated service model, helps the offices collaborate better. So when we are going from office to office, the issues are interconnected, we can do so in a more timely fashion.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And I just wanted to add a little bit to what Elizabeth shared. I don't know how many of you are aware of what's going on out in the job market right now, but they're calling the pandemic, the end of the pandemic, they're calling it the Great Resignation. And so we have actually seen dozens of staff. I mean, it's really decimated some of our staff, groups up in the university. That's not an excuse, and I fully recognize that, and I know Elizabeth does as well. So one of the reasons that we're pulling all these staff centrally on the second floor is to cross-train people. So that when we do have a resignation, we've got what we call a deep bench, so that, you email somebody, but it gets forwarded to a whole group of other people to make sure that you get a response and you get it in a time. So my sincere apologies to your friend, for all the other people who look at Illinois Tech and our staff and go, why didn't I get a response? What happened here? To create an environment, process where that doesn't happen. But so again,
So there was an anonymous question of, can you please give an update and information about the current status of gender neutral housing on campus and what resources are available to gender diverse students?
All right, I can start with that. Yeah, thank you. I don't think that's possible, since that's probably better. All right, so the question was about gender neutral housing, and I know this, it's definitely came up a few weeks ago, and it's something that we're going to be really serious about. Right? So I know Jennifer, who is our director of residence life, has met with PRISM as well, and we are really working towards a solution there, and we want to do this as soon as possible. So meetings are ongoing right now, and I'm really confident in the upcoming weeks we're going to come up with a solution to really address this really, really important issue. You want to say?
So just a few more things, because I know Prism and I and Janice actually met, I think, like a week ago, and one representative of Prism, but I hope she brought it back to you guys. And definitely everything she said for sure, and just know that we are open, and I know Janessa is planning to meet with Prism in particular, and anyone else who's interested in this topic, to talk about how we can advertise. For years, housing has kind of had its ebbs and flows of, at one point in time, it was very much like, well, not everybody wants to be identified as living in gender neutral housing. And then there are people who were like, yes, I want to be in gender neutral housing. And so it's ebbed and flowed. And I know by now, because this conversation has been happening in my life for at least, I don't know, 20 years. And definitely, there are other institutions who do really, really well, and there are a lot of people who have friends in those institutions. There's a lot of professionals who do it, and so we do have a model we can move forward with, and I know that would be beautiful for sure. So thank you thanks to Prism for very sensitive and wonderfully bringing that topic to us, and every year very gracious with this week, and we get better.
So a couple of things came up in the conversation that I wanted to do an advertisement and a comment. I know one of the comments that was made was, what are you doing to prepare student organization space and maker space, across the campus? So it was mentioned that we're considering the tower basement for student orgs, and I just wanted to expound upon that a little bit. We're actually going to have 3 spaces on campus that are maker spaces. So the tower basement will be largely for student organizations like the Robotics Club. The idea shop will be much more open and available. We're actually adding some additional hours for the idea shop. And we're in the early stage of considering using the facilities building as sort of a maker space on steroids, where we're going to put a lot of our 5-axis machines and our automated equipment. But stay tuned for that whole unpacking. Really trying to up the ante on maker spaces and student org spaces on campus. And then for my advertisement, I want to thank Shahan for giving a little shout out to creativity and innovation. We have a lecture next week from David Edwards. David Edwards on October the 13th, Wednesday at 5:30, we'll be giving a lecture in the Kaplan Institute. And David is really a remarkable individual. He's a PhD from Illinois Tech. He went on to become one of the youngest members of the National Academy of Engineering. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's launched many, many companies, including a restaurant, a company that makes artificial pancreases. I mean, all these cool stuff that he's done. His latest company is a treatment for COVID. It's called FED, F-E-N-D, and he's developed an effective therapeutic for COVID. And so I really encourage you, if you're interested in innovation, if you're interested in entrepreneurship, if you're just interested in meeting one of the most creative people I know, come out and listen to David Edwards. He's a very engaging speaker, and I think you all would enjoy that. Thanks.
Are there any other questions back?
I know they're doing a great job, but I'm currently staying in downtown. I have 3 more students along with me. So my classes and one of my classes ends at 8 p.m. But although the professor takes option, I still take it on in order to but I don't know doing it in the room. And I have also made request to public safety a couple of times, like they could drop me, at least not exactly in my place, around downtown. Even I request my roommate. Class is ending at 9:45 p.m. So she just prefers to be doing it online instead of offline. So I just wanted to put this as a request to public safety to consider those areas instead of out of.
To make sure I heard everything you said, or at least mostly. It sounds like you're asking about the escort process the public safety runs off campus and adding more places for the shuttle to go. Is that what you're doing? And I know Bruce Watts isn't here today, but I helped pass the information along, but I could also let you know he's open to talking with students and kind of reevaluating where the class actually goes. The current route was based on where students lived a few years ago. So as we see how students are moving and changing in the neighborhood, we will take a look at that and try to do that. In the meantime, we do have the escort service where you're on campus and you're in the camper, right? But on campus, you can get somebody to walk with you from public safety. They can either ride a bike next to you, and in some cases, depending on availability and weather, they will give you a ride on campus. So if you need to get from the tower to Keating, or really anywhere, but you can certainly do that. And then the other option is for off-campus students who live off campus. There's a central pickup place, and it leaves at a certain time, and it goes within a mile radius of campus, and then returns. So that's great until you're waiting an hour and a half to get home at 10 o'clock at night. So we do understand that, and I think why don't you come see me afterwards, and I'll get your name so I can make sure that Bruce how well with you.
And this isn't much of a solution for the shuttle issue, but if you miss part of a lecture or a lecture in many, many classes, there's an option for viewing the lecture online, and I realize that's not a solution. So we will try to address the shuttle issue. If you're having repeated problems, I really encourage you to reach out to any sets. But thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Other questions? Sure.
Hi, my name is Victoria. I'm a 4th-year applied math major. So my question relates to the processes and systems behind academic affairs. Like I've noticed throughout my years here that things like getting into a co-terminal program, logistically within the system, being an academic audit. Like for me, one from the time of being accepted to the code versus being in the system took about a year, and audit usually takes several months to get back. And then I found out that the audits, they're actually done within Microsoft Paint. So basically, my question is, are there any initiatives to maybe modernize or increase the efficiency of the current systems, like maybe doing audits in Excel or something like that?
It's a great question, Victoria. So up until this summer, I think June or July, we didn't have a co-terminal or AMP coordinator. And I broke the piggy bank and allowed, Professor Orgel to hire an AMP coordinator specifically for this issue, because I thought our processes for managing terminal and AMP were, in a word, messed up. And so we have tried to address that. I would encourage you to, for all of you, if you're interested in terminal or AMP, test drive our new system with our new coordinator. Give them a chance to that we are on the ball. We aren't, in the Middle Ages. So give them a chance on that. But thank you for bringing that question.
I'm going to roll a couple anonymous questions into one, so sorry if you feel like I'm not giving your question enough attention. There were several questions about residence life staffing and not feeling particularly supported by only having a single residence hall director. So there were questions about what's being done to increase staffing levels and also what's being done to increase coordination between departments on campus, who sometimes seem to work a little at cross purposes.
I can start with the residence life question. There is a vacancy, so we are in the process of interviewing right now for 2 residence hall directors. And so we are making movement, it takes time. Frankly, we're a little bit off cycle in terms of getting folks hired, and that did create a little bit of a challenge, but I think we're on track. So I'm really confident that within the next couple of months that we're going to have some new residence hall directors on board with that. I think that's going to help greatly. We did make one new hire. So Tanisha Fowler started with us a few months back, and she's done wonderfully. And so we're really excited about that. We also are adding more administrative support in housing operations as well. So a position was just approved, and so that's a as well. So it's really high priority for us to really continue to provide needed resources for the rest of my side of things. Last thing that I want to add is one of our biggest focuses for this particular semester is improving communication with all of you as well. So let us know how we're doing. It's a little bit behind the scenes, but we moved from the footprint system to cases and Salesforce, and I think that's a great way to making sure that questions are signed to the proper staff to get the questions addressed in a very timely manner. So it's the highest priority for us. Also. Great question. And I think the other question is coordination. So between we've been
various departments on campus.
Yeah, I think that's the age-old question, right? It's communication. How do you improve communication? And I think it can happen in a couple of different ways. One is, and I'll say it this way, is for us as faculty and staff, when we know each other, the better communication is going to get. Communication is really relational in many ways. And I'm actually on the staff advisory council, and I had an engagement committee. And one of the things that we're really focused on is getting folks to know one another and to understand one's goals as well. So we're really focused on that, and it's not going to help in terms of communication. Certainly, I think there's some systems pieces to it too, which I think we're looking at very, very carefully as well, particularly when it comes to advising and other things. I think they're key as it relates to communication. Great question.
Hi guys, so I'm Antonio Rochella. I'm a 4th-year chemical engineering major, and my question is related to organizational transparency. So as we know, students and faculty and staff, we want to help co-create solutions together. We want to work together. We want to understand each other to help make things happen, make change. But that can be kind of difficult to do, especially when students are coming in and we don't know a lot about the upper workings of faculty and staff and how the hierarchies work and who has power to make what decisions, who has access to what information. So I was just kind of asking a question like, have you all considered any type of organizational chart or any type of communication for students that we can, because I know we have the IIT directory, but we have to like search and figure out who we want to find. There's not really an organizational chart that actually has a list of hierarchies, because I've seen that at past companies that I've worked at, that has a list of hierarchies, like who reports to who has what power, and different areas where we can kind of look at by like folder or section. So I was wondering if you all considered anything like that, because that would really help us understand what you can do for the students and the faculty.
I'm already going to answer. So, it's a really great question. So my name is Jessica. I know HR has been working on a process over the last year to collect all that information. And what I will commit to you is making sure that it's set on the website in a way that is open and transparent and clear to everybody. And then we can also work on other ways to set up maybe copies or other opportunities for students to meet the folks that are embody that whole chart. So we'll absolutely work on that for you.
I would also quick note, SGA. That is our role on campus, is we're supposed to help you interface with the administration. So if you don't know who to talk to, come talk to SGA and we'll know who to ask to find out who you should be talking to. So if you've got a concern on campus, please just talk to someone on SGA exec. We'll find out who we need to be talking to and who we need to put you in touch with. That's what we're supposed to be doing. That's what this is about. So, I mean, we're trying. So thank you for that question. Marilyn.
A couple of days ago, I was in the student diverse council meeting, and I brought up a point that some students have come to be concerned about not having faculty and staff, and in terms of diversity in faculty and staff. And I just want to know that, is there anyone in office who's working on this at the moment? Does anybody know about how students feel about the lack of diversity and not having professors who can relate to them or staff members who can relate to them? With my personal experience in PSU, my second year, I saw in the survey, the diversity, equity, and inclusion survey, that only 4%, and this includes both the Miles campus and the Rice campus, only 4% of faculty and staff are Black. And that's a concern to me being PSU president. I'm pretty sure other organizations have similar concerns to mine. So I just want to know, are there any steps being taken to solve this problem? Do we have a person in power, such as a diversity officer, who oversees this to make sure that these plans are taken through?
Thank you. Thank you for that question. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Arvind Chambardi. I have the honor of serving as the president at Illinois Tech. So if I heard your question correctly, it's fundamentally about diversity, inclusion, and belonging, and the lack of representation of certain racial and faculty members that don't reflect the broader population. Did I hear you correctly? Okay. This is absolutely a very important issue for us, and I'll tell you three things. One, you probably know that we just finished a diversity survey among students in the last semester. We are doing a very similar survey for faculty and staff this semester. That is hopefully going to help us understand the broad parameters of what it needs to take in terms of the infrastructure, culture, and the capabilities we need to build. So that is point number one. Point number two is regarding the broader issue, and I'm going to say it's not just about faculty, it is about staff for us, it's about students, about donors, it's about trustees. All of that for us needs to be diverse, if you will. Because to me, one of the things people always tell me is we need to reflect the world. And I'm going to disagree. I'm going to say it's not about reflecting the world. Illinois Tech needs to exemplify what a just world looks like. So that's the moral philosophy that we are going to be operating by, and so on. And so the question is, what are the specific steps we are taking? So if you are applying for tenure here, one of the things we are asking faculty to do is have a diversity statement. when we are recruiting faculty and staff, we are ensuring that the pool is diverse enough and there's not enough diversity to ensure that there is, etc. So we are trying to remove the structural impediments. We are talking to people who can actually provide us access to those talent pipelines, etc. So hopefully good things will happen in the long run. And the third thing that we are trying to do, you asked, if I remember, if I heard you correctly, a question about a chief diversity officer. That's the word we are going towards. But to go before that, one of the things that I'm doing right now, in fact, I had this conversation this morning with Alicia Bunton, who runs the community affairs for us, is actually to inventory all the things that we are doing, to identify the gaps in the system. And then, we are going to develop a forward-looking vision of what a diversity officer should look like. And in fact, in the last month or so, I talked to a variety of chief diversity officers around the country. So we now have a broad idea of what that position is. And it's not just a position, but also to provide that person the right kind of infrastructural support and the capabilities, etc. So we are doing it. And so hopefully by the end of this semester, you will hear very concrete steps on what you're doing. Of course, this is all, from our perspective. We think we are hearing you and we are reacting. And in some cases, we are proactive. But if you have very concrete suggestions, please don't hesitate to call or email any of us. And while we are participating in a variety of these fora and so on, please don't hesitate to voice your opinions and so on, because we do take your thought seriously, your concern seriously, and we'll be able to accommodate that into a coherent strategy. But at the end, one of the things that I said last week, the IW versus suffrage marker event, and I'm going to reiterate that as a president, as a person of color, as somebody who is an immigrant, I am very particular about diversity, inclusion, and belonging, because I want everybody to belong here. But the thing that I would say is I want to ensure that every voice here at Illinois, every experience is respected, and we honor every idea. Okay, so anything we can do to accomplish that, please let me know. So thank you for that wonderful question, and thank you, by the way, for all that you do in the Black Student Association. Thank you. Yeah.
It's a little after 1:50, so people probably need to get to class or other appointments. And I think that's a great question for us to end on. If you have any, so thank you to all of our speakers and to all of our panelists.
Thank you, and I want to thank Ben. Ben was on my interview committee and asked me very tough questions.
Thank you. And if you are a student and have not yet submitted the check-in form, technically we are supposed to have you sign in for this through SGA rules. Please use the check-in form. Just tell us that you were here, what year you were, what your major is. We look forward to doing this with you again. If you found value in it, please use the feedback form. It is anonymous. And then food. There is food at the front of the room. That food is for you. Please come get food.
There's candy. And tacos. Good job.
Very well. So, should the
Okay, that would be. If you
only a part time.
not yet. The food system over, so it's all on the screen. Like,
Priority.
That's the phone is, the stream is on that. Oh. I wouldn't worry about it right now, but I can have Rachel talk more on that. You know, I was hiding. I was like really just like, make sure this is a student event, just like.